We're going to dive into a pretty wild thought experiment today. What would actually happen if you took a hero, like a truly incorruptible one, a beacon of pure hope, and you just dropped them smack dab in the middle of maybe the most famously bleak, oppressive universe ever created? Yep, we're talking about Warhammer 40,000.
Man, that quote says it all, doesn't it? You gotta understand just how insane this whole idea is. To do that, we have to get on the same page about the reality of this place. This is not, and I mean not, a setting for grand adventures and happy endings. The galaxy itself is dying. It's a wound that just won't heal. Every single action, every battle is just trying to put off the inevitable for one more day.
A galaxy built on loss. Understanding the principle of attrition. Okay, so you might be asking, how does anything even work in a place like this? How does a civilization survive? Well, it all comes down to one single, brutal principle that underpins, well, everything. A philosophy built entirely on loss. And that principle is attrition. Now, this is the part you really got to wrap your head around, because it's key. For the Imperium of Man, the main human faction, human life isn't something to be protected at all. It's a resource. It's something you spend. Trillions upon trillions of human lives are just fuel for a giant war machine that is literally grinding itself into dust just to keep going. Yeah, this quote right here, it just says everything, doesn't it? Your value isn't based on who you are, what you do, or what you dream of. Nope, it's measured by a simple, grim calculation. How much extra time can your death buy for a dying empire? It is absolutely chilling when you think about it like that.
Okay, so into this cosmic meat grinder, this universe of pure despair, in walks our hero. And he operates on a belief that is so completely alien to this setting that it literally can't be computed. The idea that every single life is precious and is actually worth saving. This is the collision course we're about to witness, a total clash of realities.
All right, Section 2, the Alien Act of Peace. Our first case study, the Orcs. So, if you're not familiar, the Orcs are basically a race of, space hooligans. They're big, they're green, they're brutish, and they live for one thing and one thing only: a good fight, a real scrap.
So picture this, a massive orc Waaagh, that's their word for a giant invasion and war party, descends on a planet. They're expecting what they always get: blood, guts, explosions, a glorious, violent battle. But our hero shows up and gives them something completely different. He doesn't kill them, he doesn't fight them in the way they understand, he just pacifies them, super efficiently, totally non-lethally. Dismantles their tanks, disables their guns, the fight's over before it even begins.
And the consequence here is, it's just wild. See, the Orcs are powered by this collective psychic field, the Waaagh, which literally feeds on the energy and excitement of a good scrap. By just turning off the fight, our hero basically starves them of their psychic food source. And their whole society just destabilizes. The source material says they stopped laughing. Can you imagine? An orc that doesn't want to fight? It broke them. And get this, even the humans he saved didn't see it as a rescue. They reported it as an aberration. Something was fundamentally wrong with what just happened. The universe wasn't supposed to work that way. Okay, next up, Heresy of a Perfect Machine. We're talking about the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, these are the tech priests of the Imperium. Their entire religion is based on a simple idea: flesh is weak, machines are holy. The only way to get closer to perfection is by replacing your squishy organic bits with pure logical machinery. So, what happens when they run into a being who is biologically perfect? And this table just lays out their total theological meltdown perfectly. On one side, you've got their observations. Okay, he has no augmetics, no tech implants, no mutations. His cells just turn sunlight into strength, and his body, it doesn't decay. Now look at the other column, the heretical implications. This means his power comes from some unsanctioned source. He's a biological machine that's impossibly efficient, way better than anything they could build. And worst of all, he completely violates the fundamental, universal law of decay. In a galaxy where everything is rusting and falling apart, he doesn't. He is, to them, heresy in physical form.
So what's their final verdict? Is he a hero? An ally? A miracle? Nope. They classify him as an ontological anomaly, which is just a fancy way of saying he's a being whose very existence breaks the rules of reality. He's not just an enemy, he's a glitch in the universe, a flaw in the system.
All right, what about chaos? The big bad of the setting. The literal gods of emotion who feed on things like rage, despair, and ambition. Surely they can get their hooks into him, right? I mean, that's their whole deal. So Chaos throws the whole kitchen sink at him. They try temptation, dangling power and glory in front of him. Fails. They try fear, showing him visions of utter cosmic horror. Fails. They try to stoke his rage, showing him endless injustice. And again, nothing. Every single attempt just slides right off him. Their corruption can't find anything to grab on. And here's the really important part. Why did it fail? It's not like he fought them off with righteous fury or blinding faith, because those are still emotions Chaos can eventually twist and eat. No, he just met them with clarity. The source puts it so well, the warp, the dimension of Chaos, recoiled. Not because it was hurt, but because it was unfed. It found something it literally could not metabolize. It's like they tried to eat a rock. He offered them absolutely nothing to consume. He was spiritual, empty calories. So, while the orcs and the forces of Chaos are just completely bewildered by this guy, the leaders of humanity, the Imperium, they got it. They understood the danger immediately. And they figured out that the real threat wasn't his superpowers. It was the side effect, the thing he was creating just by existing.
And what was that dangerous side effect? It was hope. Simple as that. Every time he saved a planet, every time he rescued people without a horrific cost, he planted a seed of doubt. People started to wonder, hey, if he can save us, why do we have to live like this? Why do we have to accept that endless sacrifice is the only way? And that idea, that hope, it started spreading faster than any plague, threatening to completely unravel the system that holds the Imperium together.
So of course the Inquisition gets involved, the Imperium's secret police, and their verdict is swift and terrifying. He's not a demon. He's not a Xenos. He's something far, far more dangerous. He is a counter-narrative. Think about that. Not a person, but an idea that could bring down their entire civilization, not because it's a lie, but because it's a truth they can't afford to hear. And that just leads to this impossible question, right? How do you fight that? You can't put a bullet at an idea. You can't drop a bomb on a fundamental truth. So what do you do if you're an empire built on a lie that keeps everyone alive, and you're faced with a hero who embodies a truth that will get everyone killed? Well, they don't kill him. No way. That just make him a martyr, and his dangerous idea would become a religion. Instead, they do something so much smarter and so much more cruel. They bring him to Holy Terra, the capital of the Imperium, and they show him the terrible, awful truth at the heart of it all. They show him the Emperor on the golden throne. And he's not some shining god in golden armor. He's a 10,000-year-old psychic corpse, a grotesque engine kept barely functioning by the daily sacrifice of 1,000 souls. And this is the checkmate. This is the Imperium's ultimate trap, laid out right here. They tell him, go ahead, be the hero, save everyone. But if he does that, the entire system of sacrifice that holds everything together, it collapses. And when that system collapses, humanity's psychic shields fail. The Astronomicon that allows for space travel goes dark, and the forces of Chaos will pour in and devour every single soul he was trying to protect. His heroism, his goodness, would be the direct cause of humanity's total and utter damnation. So, faced with an impossible choice like that, where saving people is the worst thing you can possibly do, what's left? What can a hero even do? Which brings us really to the only possible conclusion to a story like this.
He wasn't beaten, he wasn't broken or corrupted. He was just incompatible. He was rejected, not by a villain, but by reality itself. He found himself in a universe that could only survive if hope didn't exist, a universe that needed despair to function. So, he just left. And the Imperium, they didn't celebrate. This wasn't a victory parade. For them, it was like cleaning up a toxic spill, a contamination that had to be purged from the system. So they went to work, systematically wiping every single record that he ever existed. They had to bury the idea, the dangerous, poisonous idea, that things could ever be better.
And that leads us to this final, chilling entry, locked away in some dusty, forgotten Imperial archive. Archive sealed, hope classified as contamination. In the grim darkness of the far future, the most dangerous thing in the universe, the one thing that could truly destroy humanity, isn't some alien or some demon. It's hope.